We're privileged today to be with Tom Timmons, the President and Chief Operating Officer of Wild Rose. Tom, good to have this conversation today. 8-9 years ago, when this process started, there was something about Jefferson that Wild Rose really liked. What was that? What drew you to Jefferson initially, and what have you learned about the community over the last decade or so?
Doug, what we liked about Jefferson was the fact that Jefferson liked us. They came to us and said, we have an idea. And we remember Mr. Kirk and I talked to Kim Reeder. That was a day in February, I believe, of 2013. And he said, I have an idea. And Kim referred to it as a donut hole. And what he meant by that was when you put the casino in Jefferson and you draw this circle around it, there wasn't a casino within 60 miles. And from that point on, it became known as the Donut Hole Project. And we had fun spinning off of that. But the bottom line is we were accepted. It was a grassroots campaign from the folks at Jefferson. All those folks are still involved today. And that's what makes it good. I told them this morning, there isn't anybody I'd rather go through this vote with than with those folks. And we did it the last time, and that's what I'm looking forward to this time.
Back in 2013, it was just after we'd purchased the Jefferson Herald from our good friend Rick Moraine, and he and I saw the story in the Des Moines Register that showed the 18 other state-regulated casinos, and we noticed the space that was later called the Donut Hole. So Rick and I, that Sunday, after reading it, published an editorial that said why Jefferson should have a casino. Now, when we published that, it was seen as a really, really bold idea, but the community, gravitated to it. And since that time, the casino obviously has been constructed. And then at the Greene County Development Corporation dinner about a week or two ago, we learned that as of your 6.5 years of operation, you've brought in about $14 million in terms of nonprofit donations and taxes. Talk about that a little bit and the impact you think that has had on the region.
Well, I think it speaks for itself. I believe there's about $9 million that we've given to the taxes, charities, what have you. Another $5 million on top of that, property taxes, and not even including gaming taxes that goes directly to the state of Iowa. But it has just been so much that I think has helped Jefferson, Greene County, and something else, Doug, that was done at the time that I think helped push this project over the top with the Racing Gaming Commission. You might remember it was by one vote.
It was.
That we got that.
And it was a suspenseful vote because Jeff Lamberti took a while to describe. You didn't know until he said yes that he was going to say yes down in Burlington.
Absolutely. But I think one of the things that pushed it over the top was the fact that of that 5% that we give to Greene County, they in turn take 0.9% of that and give it to the surrounding counties. And then the commission, that was what they had been looking for from some of these other nonprofits. And Greene County heard them loud and clear, and they put it right in, and they're still doing it to this day. So I think that was a big thing.
And in terms of those nonprofit contributions, we would expect that in 2022, 2023, those numbers would even grow, because it's my understanding that over the last 9 months, month to month, Wild Rose Jefferson has posted record revenue.
Yes, they have. Wild Rose Jefferson has posted record revenues. The gaming industry has posted gaming revenues. So it's not unique to us, but you're seeing it throughout the whole state. When we came back from that 75-day closure and then started getting back into the groove of things, then all of a sudden, in January of 2021, gaming revenues started taking off. I don't know if we became something to do, folks that hadn't been coming before. And maybe there weren't other things open at the time, but I think it's good marketing efforts and just doing what we're charged to do.
Tom, in terms of impact in the community and the region, of course, there's Greene County, but there's 6 contiguous counties. We talked about that, talked about the nonprofit contributions, obviously the roughly $10,000 a month that goes to the county and the city through it's 10 to 11,000 per month. We've that story's out there. But what about payroll? You have a number of employees here. It was a substantial payroll. Tell us about that and the impact that brings to the
Well,
region.
I think I just looked at that payroll. We had one just last Thursday, and I think we have about 120 folks on the payroll. Not as many as we used to. And here again, it's not unique to us, but about a year ago, when the governor had closed us for 75 days, people had to find other things to do. Hospitality industry took a hit, and so we are trying to get back to where we were. But bottom line is, we still employ a lot of people. We could be Jefferson's #1 employer.
When the casino vote went through in 2013, some of the opponents, including the Methodist Church and some groups that historically have had principal positions opposed to gambling, they were concerned that there would be issues with addiction, gambling addiction, and that there'd be crime. As somebody who reviews crime reports from the sheriff's office in Jefferson PD and from other communities in the region that we cover, we just don't see a lot of crime associated with the casino. So any predictions or speculation that there'd be crime seems to have been exaggerated, and I think some of the early opponents have even acknowledged that they were off on their predictions.
That's what I've heard. I think we went around to, I believe there was 6 town hall meetings back in 2013 that you just referenced. Rippey, Grand Junction, Peyton, Sheridan, Scranton, and Jefferson. And we fielded every question that came along, and we heard a lot of those questions at that time. And I don't know as if there was any casino in Iowa that anyone was pulling statistics from. I think maybe they just watched too many movies at the time. But what we did is we did everything we said we were going to do. And when you have DCI presence, your own security staff, a surveillance system that's second to none, that's the last place you want to go to cause any issues. So does it happen once in a while? Do we have an incident here or there? Yeah, when we have as many people as we do, statistically you're going to have some incidents, but not at a high crime rate.
One of the major upgrades that you've made, probably the most significant upgrade that you've made since opening in Jefferson, is the addition of the sports book. How is that going?
It's going very well. Here again, we kind of trend with whatever the state is doing. It's going very well in the state, and I think that's the reason it's going so well. Is not only the retail operation is doing okay, but what's really taken off is the deposit wagering, the wagering with your phone, and that's it's probably a thing of the future. And I mean, it's here now in sports wagering, but who knows? At some point in the future, there are states that have online gaming. There's probably about 4 or 5 states right now that have legalized it. And when you look at today's generation, where do they spend most of their time? It's
right
on their phones. I can say that my kids do the same thing. So I think someday it's probably coming. Maybe not in my career, but anyway, that's what's kind of what we've seen with sports wagering, and it's totally accepted. People are sitting at home and they're sitting on their couch, and you can obviously wager on any baseball, football, basketball game, and not only just the outcome of the game itself, but you can actually do what's called in-game wagering as well, and it's instantaneous. And that was something.
I'm a user of the app.
Are you?
Yeah,
okay, well
yeah.
then you should tell me how.
Right.
But no, it's just amazing. It's gone beyond my wildest imagination.
Even if people aren't interested in gaming, there's a lot of entertainment opportunities here. And now that you have 6.5 years of operations under your belt, does that make it easier to draw bigger acts? Now that you sort of have that track record, and you have people that have been booked here, some really prominent people, starting with Kenny Rogers and then even including some mixed martial arts events that have been popular. Is it how's the entertainment venue going? And because of that track record, can we look forward to some really good events coming up soon here, Tom?
Yeah, we're starting to get back into it. There again, because of what's going on in the world, you haven't seen a lot of those types of events for the past year. But just recently, we've had a couple of concerts, and it's worked out well. I think people are starting to feel more comfortable coming back. And so to answer your question, yes, we'll start getting back to where we were before with some bigger name acts.
So with all of these great additions that the casino's been a catalyst for a lot of growth and development. It has to be heartening in particular to look across Highway 30 and see the beautiful school building and the Iowa Central Community College Career Academy. I mean that area campus there is for generations going to improve lives in the region. And there's so many other nonprofit contributions, not just in Greene County, but in the region. And with the Early Learning Center developing here, addressing a really acute need, which is childcare. All of those things have been catalyzed again by the casino. But there's a vote November 2nd, and if Greene County wants to continue to have the benefits that derive from the casino, people are going to need to go out and vote yes. What's your closing argument for that yes vote on November 2nd, Tom?
Well, it just goes back to what I said earlier. When we were doing this 8 years ago, we said what we were going to do, and I think we've done everything we said we're going to do plus. And so, the night of the Hotel California concert, I got up on stage and made a plea to the residents of Greene County, and I quoted back to a video that was done. I believe you were participating in that video, but the guy that stuck out in my mind that night, several people did, don't get me wrong, but was Chuck Offenberger.
Sure.
And right at the end of that video, he come on and he said, "Commissioners, we need you. We need you now. This Jefferson's ready. We're ready to do this, but we need your vote." And he made that plea. And that's what I said to the residents of Greene County that night is, hey, we've done everything we said we're going to do. We're going to continue to do it, but we need you. So please go vote. And that's what I asked them to do. And Greene County's never let us down. So I got a good feeling.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening. And Tom, as always, thank you, sir.
Doug, always a pleasure.
Okay.
Okay.